Welcome to the Creative Mind. This is our third space. I am your host, Andrew Lyko. I am the founder of One Dope Kids. For those who know, for those that don't know, I am a contemporary fine artist. I've been doing art all my life, and I've been full-time for a few years now, and it's a blessing to be able to do what I do, and this is something that I want more people to be able to do themselves, right? So real quick, a quick little rundown of One Dope Kids. I'm gonna just, keep it short, straight to the point, talk about our mission. So One Dope Kids, our mission is to advance Web3 fine arts and provide a space for creatives and collectors. So we are developing resources to empower both sides, not just one or the other. But more than anything, guys, we are creating a feeling, all right? To be a One Dope Kid means you're a seeker of energy so that you can pass it on onto the world in any art form that you want. So that's the gist of it. There's obviously a lot more that we do that we're involved in, but that's, this space is not about One Dope Kids. This space is about Fede, all right? So for further ado, let's go ahead and introduce the one and only Basket, Fede, the OG. This his work is incredible. Right away, when you see one of his works, you identify it just due to the color alone, right? He has a very unique color palette. His line work is crazy. And my guy has been dropping art for months now. So, Fede, you want to go ahead and give yourself a quick intro? I want to go ahead and talk about, your background a little bit, where you come from and your upbringing, right? Like what influenced you? So, yeah, I guess that's.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm great.
Nice to finally meet you. How are you doing after your episode?
Man, yeah, much better now. I feel like a new man now. 3 days ago, I was on the verge of death, but we're good now, bro.
Glad to hear you're doing better. Well, for those who don't know me, I'm Fede. I'm an Argentinian-based artist. I've been in this space for as long as there has been NFTs in Solana, basically. Well, no, technically that's not true, but I've been dropping things since last July, 2021. I think Solana NFTs are dated from April, if I'm not mistaken. But when I jumped in this space, we were maybe about I don't know, 10 artists. So it's seems pretty far away from now.
Damn. And to real quick,
yeah.
like that's like what, over a year, which in Web3 time, that's like 3 years. So my guy, you're like a true OG. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast time passes here. How much has been going on in such a short period of time. Even like the first couple of months were absolutely wild. So I feel like it's been already like a full career, even though it's been like a year and a half. Yeah, it's crazy.
I bet, man. I can only imagine like you've basically seen it all, right? From the very beginning, the different waves. I mean, being a one-on-one artist, like how have you seen things kind of like evolve throughout time, right? Because I know I entered the space like in the one-on-one art space like 2.5 months ago. And bro, within those 2.5 months, I've seen so much shit kind of happening. I'm like, yo, and what's happening recently? I feel like the one-on-one space is getting a lot of love lately, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't always like that. Am I correct?
Yeah, no, it was a completely different game back then. At the beginning, to be completely honest, and I pretty positive everyone that was there back then can relate. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just like dropping stuff and seeing what happened. They weren't collections. They weren't almost marketplace. The only marketplace around was Olaplex that was, even though we have to give them credit for building the infrastructure, it was a pain in the ass using it. And yeah, I mean, back then there was even more demand and supply for art. Basically, if you were an artist back then, no matter how bad or good you were gonna sell your stuff because there wasn't much more going around. I mean, I was pretty bad when I started as well, so I feel like I'm entitled to say that. But yeah, it's crazy to see how much everything has matured and evolved, and a lot of art forms that didn't have much attention back then started to have some relevance. For example, there wasn't much going on for example, abstract. There was pretty much only like illustration or pixel art. No, it's nice to see how the space evolved and matured and grown, and the community as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. That's amazing. Yeah, because like I'm telling you, I've been maybe going into 3 months, and it's just been a crazy ride, bro. It's so freaking cool to see all these artists be able to kind of express themselves, but at the same time, make a living, even with the current conditions, right? So it's kind of amazing to see. But yeah, cool, man. So let's get into it. I want to ask you, like, how did you get into art, right? Like, tell us that story a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Well, I've been around arts all my life. Honestly, I one of my eldest memories is I was at my grandparents' house, and I had like I went through them and told them like, Do, tell me any topic, and I'll make either a song or a drawing for you, and I charged them like a quarter or whatever they had to give me. So that was my first like professional art related job. But yeah, after that, I remember my favorite subject in school was arts. I studied graphic design and I dropped it, and I studied architecture after that. I dropped it as well, but it's a way of saying that I've always been around it, but never got to like work from it until the NFTs. After dropping graphic design, I was quite frustrated with my experience with visual arts, and I focused pretty much on music, which has been my main art form for a couple of years. Um, and yeah, when NFT started to be a thing, or at least I knew about them, I get back to drawing and to developing my craft, and like rediscovering my language and understanding me as an adult doing art, because as I said, I hadn't been doing it for a while. So that's to sum up more or less my way up to where I'm at now.
Yeah. And how long would you say, like, that it took you to kind of find your voice that you have now? Or, when did you realize that you had like this not an aha moment, but like this period of time that you were like, yo, this is what uh, it means to be Fede. This is what basket looks like, and this is what I'm gonna go with. Like, how did that happen? Because I know, being an artist myself, that's something that's not easy to do, right? To find your voice and to kind of understand, like, yo, this is me, right? And I want to show the world that this is me. So,
I feel like it was a combination of things, because at the beginning I started drawing and sketching as good or bad as I could, basically. If you see some of my earlier work on chain, it's you can see some similitudes, but it's basically something way worse, in my opinion. So part of developing my technique and my language was grinding itself. I mean, it was trying to get better technically, because back then I feel like I was lacking a lot, especially for not having drawn for a long time. Um, then I feel like there are a lot of like references, and not only visual, but like feelings or things that I like to do, or I don't know, music and skateboarding are two things that influence widely on how I like to perceive things, and to do them. And there are some topics that are really related to what I draw and how I draw it, despite not necessarily drawing that. Um, I'm going to a more specific point of time. I feel like I finished polishing my style and my palette and all that probably around my BSKT collection. I remember that at certain point, the ecosystem had grown quite a lot, and I felt like I was falling behind on my technique, and I realized that I had to like step up, and I started working really hard on. Okay, I I don't know, I can't remember the exact numbers, but let's say I dedicated like an hour or two to every piece I made, and say, okay, I want to see what happens if I dedicate 6 hours, 10 hours, and I started like polishing everything as much as I could because I felt like I needed to, and that shaped pretty much what I do now. And I felt like after that, I found something I'm comfortable and I'm proud to show. So that's it.
That's very cool, man. It's very interesting because I know, especially in Web3, man, a lot of artists can kind of see the success and like the fastest, rapid pace that, they're dropping stuff and selling out. And it's very easy to kind of feel like you're getting left behind, right? Or to have that sense of emotion. And for you, it seems like, even happened to you, right? I mean, somebody being in the space that early, and still you had these moments where you felt like, oh shit, I need to step it up. I need to do something to kind of like, continue pushing my brand, my name. And this is a very good point for artists listening right now, and even collectors, right? To understand that like we have these moments, whether we like it or not, and it does not matter which level that we're at. We're gonna continue to have these moments where it's like, yo, are we gonna push for the next thing, or are we gonna go ahead and like kind of just lay low a little bit and work on our own pace or whatever? But it comes to those times where you have to decide, like, yo, am I ready for this? Am I ready to put in an extra 6 to 7 hours per day, to see if this is even gonna work out? Because at the end of the day, we don't know if it's gonna work out, right? We just put our best foot forward, and we grind it out, and we do what we think is best for our art. But at the end of the day, it's like the market is what decides whether or not it's going to be acquired. And so you just got to be ready for that. You have to know, like, okay, do I have the energy and the time to do this right now? Because it's definitely not easy. So big ups to you, bro, for taking that moment and be like, nah, like, I'm gonna put an extra 5 to 6 hours to really perfect this and create my voice, right? Because yeah, man, it's easy to get left behind, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And so the people who truly grind it out and put the hours, and you obviously have a better chance for success because you're willing to put the effort, right? So let
Yeah.
me give you some hearts for that real quick, bro, before I get into the next question.
Not to mention
Something.
the
Oh,
fact that you're an
sorry.
OG in the space. I just want to point out like that shows like the fact that you know that you have to adapt and you have to keep growing and you have to keep changing. So that mindset already it prevails because of you being in the space for so long. And I mean that's just like a big part of it all too, man. Like and that right there, just taking that time to get it done. That's
Well, yeah,
one of the major keys.
absolutely. Because something funny about my journey as an artist is that most successful artists here arrive to the space like already working on their arts or with a career maybe outside the chain. Maybe they weren't that successful or whatever, but they've been doing their stuff for a while. For example, you, Andrew. In my case, I succeeded before finding my what I was really good at. So it was quite wild to like try to find my voice while keeping up with the
Dude,
success I already had. It was
oof.
quite crazy.
I can imagine. I know exactly what you mean. So, for those that don't quite understand, so what he's saying is that he had found some success before he had found his voice. So while he was over here selling, right, and making a name for himself, he had to play catch up to produce the quality that he felt he needed to produce, which was a style, a brand, a palette. So to be in the middle of both sides of like, okay, you're producing and you're selling, but at the same time, you need to find yourself fast, bro. That's gotta be hella stressful, man, because now you have like this time limit, right? Where you're like, yo, I need to play catch up because if not, people are gonna take notice, right? So man, I can't imagine what that was like, dude. But congrats for you to figure it out, because you obviously figured it out, and you've been doing quite well. But
Yeah,
damn, dude.
it was quite wild. But yeah, I once again I feel like I'm proud of what I'm doing now. I still want to figure out what comes next, but at least I have like a base on where I'm comfortable dropping stuff, and I like every piece I drop. So yeah, I'm quite happy and proud about it.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, I mean, I had a similar experience, but again, this is not about me. This space is about you. And let's go ahead and ease it up a bit. And I wanted to go ahead and just ask about your name. All right, Fede Basket. Why Basket? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Why you chose that name?
Yeah, the thing is, when I started on NFTs, as I said, it was so early that I never thought that this would become a career for me. I first thought it like as a side gig, maybe sold a couple of Sol, it would be a nice extra. So I basically used a name. That's my music name. I have a musical project which is called Basket as well. And have you seen, for example, when you start like a new game at PlayStation or whatever, that you use always the same name? That's what I did. If I knew this will what finish happening will happen, I probably will have used another name, because especially at the beginning I wanted to stay anonymous. So this caught me off guard. All of a sudden things were blooming, and I was stuck with my musical name, semi-doxed, but well, now it's part of my brand. So
So the name kind of chose you, right? I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you stuck with it. It's what you've known. It's what you've been, and now you're a basket to the world. But yeah, dude,
It's
you're
funny
already.
because
Mhm.
it's funny because since I use both names, some people know me by Basket and some people know me by Fede. And for example, on Breakpoint, I introduced myself mainly as Basket. I don't know why, because it's my Twitter handle. And some people like didn't really knew who I was. And then someone else said, he's Fede. And I said, oh, fuck, you're Fede. And they got all pumped or whatever. And well, I'm stuck with two names now.
Honestly, yeah, I'm confused myself. Well, not confused, but when I talk about you, when I say or I'm saying your name, I say both, like as if Fede was your first and Basket was your last,
Right.
because I don't know what to say, so I'm just like Fede Basket Fede. Yeah, the OG, that guy, dude. That's how that's how I talk about you. But yeah, man, your art is very unique. I honestly, once Milt showed me when we were at Hacker House, I was like, dude, this is fucking sick. Like, it clearly a no-brainer to do a collab, man. And I love your approach too, because all right, so let's talk about the auction that it's about to go live in like 6 minutes, actually. The honorary critter. So for the audience that don't know, what we do with One Dope Kids is we have this master template, which is just a blank canvas of a critter, and we give it to the collaborated artist to go ahead and do whatever they want with it, right? And Basket's approach was a swaggy grandpa turtle with fire ears in the laundromat. Like, bro, like, let's get into that, because that's so fucking unique. I had no clue that this was gonna happen, right? I had no idea what you were gonna do, and when you sent that to me, I was legit stunned, bro. I was just like, yo, what the fuck am I looking at, and why is it so dope? So let's talk about it a little bit.
If I gotta be honest, I'm as confused as you are. The thing is, when you send me a template, I started doodling over it because I really didn't know what to do. And just by looking the time lapse I sent you, I understood my process. I thought that I had started by the eyes and the nose, and that's shaped as a turtle. But somehow, if you see the template, the first thing I did was the shell. So I really can't explain why did it. I guess it's the big head or something that drove me to do that. But I'm not pretty sure. Then once the idea was kind of on rails, there are a lot of things I usually do on my illustrations, like the lines and like how I draw the nose, or a lot of the elements that the illustration has are quite mine, so they make sense. But how the original idea came, uh, I can't really tell.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Keep going.
No, I mean, then I do know, like, for example, the template had these ears, and I was already doing a turtle, so I had to do something with it, and I thought like maybe some like levitating fire will be quite dope or something like that. And one thing I usually do is I tend to use like a lot of eyewear on the pieces I do, because honestly I don't like how I draw eyes. So it's something like covers that zone and looks pretty cool as well. So I started doing those shades that I have, ones that are really similar IRL, and I use them quite a lot. And then I don't know, I just figured that it would be fun to be like an old swaggy turtle. Once I finished the character, I had to put it somewhere because I felt like it was too normal, like just with a plain background or whatever. And I started like testing a couple of things. I did some geometrical stuff. And once again, I can't fully understand where the laundry came from. I first thought of like the laundry machine, and then it struck me that it would be cool like to be in there, like in the space. So that's pretty much it.
Bro, yeah, I honestly love it. Like I'm looking at it right now, and all the little details. Like for me, the way I interpret it, because I'm a big fan of like cartoons and stuff, and obviously I think about the Ninja Turtles. So for me, I was like, okay, so this is either Raphael or Michelangelo. He's retired, right? No longer a Ninja Turtle, but he's swagged as fuck, and he obviously has some dirty laundry, so he needs to go ahead and clean it. And he reached like this whole new level of ascension that his ears just turned into flames. And that's how he's retired and like a god, like the OG, right? So that's
For real.
That's my interpretation of it. And that's what I saw. But yeah, man, it's freaking cool. I love like the vintage vibe that it has. Like, I don't know, it's a really cool piece. It's a very unique piece, and I doubt that there's anything else like it out there in the world, so definitely fucking excited to drop this in exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. This auction is going to be live, so super freaking pumped for you, man, for us and for everybody tuning in, because this is a very special moment, and I'm just happy to share it with you guys. So that leads into my next question, bro. Why did you agree to this collaboration, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it happened more or less the same that happened to you, but the other way around. Being completely honest, I wasn't aware of your work until my brother told me he was hanging with you in Haggard House, Colombia. And when I saw your work, I said, okay, this dude is super cool. I really like what he does. And I want to work with him some way. Also, another thing that also added points is like, I like to help, or I don't want to say like to help people by myself, but I do have some audience that I like to have, especially to Latin American artists, and to people who I think that has a lot of talent, but yet not that much of an audience or whatever. So those were like the two things I say, okay, let's do it. And once I start collaborating with someone, or I agree to collaborate with someone, I try not to put like too many sticks on the wheel. Like, okay, if it's gonna be about One Dope Kids, let's do it. There's no problem. If it's gonna be a piece of your own, okay, let's do it. So I try not to be a pain in the ass, basically. So those were the things that led me into here.
Yeah, bro, that's, let me give you some hearts for that, because what you just said, it touched the heart for real, because it's true. I mean, I do have a background. I come from a background of, having a successful career in real life, but that doesn't translate automatically, into Web3. We've seen it time and time and again that with influencers and stuff, it just doesn't work out like that. So for me, coming into Web3 into Solana, it was a whole new thing, bro. It was like I had to go ahead and find my way in. I had to grind it out. I had to, network, go to Hacker House. You know what I mean? Like, put my money where my mouth was and just, start over basically. So to have you kind of, agree to do stuff like this, for your own reasons, it's really cool, man. Because yeah, like now people are starting to know my name, and now people are realizing, oh, he actually sells in real life as well. Like, oh, he actually paints. He does this. That he has this project ODK. But in the beginning, bro, like nobody knew shit, right? So it was kind of amazing that you agreed so early on to do anything with me, because yeah, it was like kind of instant. Your brother Mills showed you some of my work, but at the end of the day, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. You didn't have to say yes. But it was kind of amazing for you to not just say yes, but you followed up and you're like, yeah, I said I was down to collab, and I'm here collaborating with you right now. So, big props to you for keeping your word, bro, and really, doing what you said you were going to do. So I really love you for that.
I
But yeah,
appreciate, man. The thing is,
yeah.
Since I've been for quite a long time in the space, I feel like I was quite lucky for my timing to be able to capitalize the opportunities that were given to me. And I realized that every time that I helped someone, especially someone who was who was just starting, it really made a difference. So and since the space has been like so good to me, like really life changing. Once again, I wasn't working on anything arts related before this, so I feel like I owe something to the space. And all I want to do is like to take care from it and like to bring people up, because that's the way we win. We win all together, we lose all together.
Bro, and that's exactly what it means to be a fucking one dope kid, man. Like that right there, that whole essence right there. It's like you have found your way and you're just paving the way for others as well in your own way. So that's exactly what we're doing here, man. Like we're creating opportunities and we're, pushing everybody forward, and we're doing it in a way that is truly like a tribe. It's like no pressure, we have no contracts. We have none of this. It's just like, yo, you want to rock with us? You can rock with us. If you don't, no biggie. It's like the door's right there. So it's kind of amazing to have people like you, support us and to be involved more than anything, right? But yeah, dude, this has been freaking amazing. And just the auction is at 10 SOL already, my guy. Like, wow.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Yeah, talk about insane. I mean, not really, right? This piece is fucking awesome, dude. Like, I want it for myself. But I don't bid on these auctions for the main reason that I am the founder, and I think that'll look bad. But man, the same with SoulCat, right? Like his piece was fucking amazing, very unique. He took a complete different approach, and it registered well, bro. So I feel like this is gonna do well, dude. I'm just super ecstatic that a part of this is gonna go back into the one-on-one community, because we're gonna be buying more art, right? Like we have an ODK Bowl where we're continuously buying art as well. And yeah, dude. So very, very happy to have you here, man. Is there something? All right, I want to get into this. Is there something that you feel like can kind of help this space a little bit more from like a community standpoint, from the one-on-one space? Like what I've seen is very cool. Like I've seen people not just sell, but a lot of these artists also go ahead and take some of those funds and repurchase or buy other people's works, right? And I feel like that's something that is like being pushed by the one-on-one art space. And a lot of people from the PFP side of things are starting to, learn and take these things into consideration when they're buying art, right? Like we've had people come into ODK asking, yo, like I want to get into the scene, like, can you help me and guide me, like what should I get, or like, what artists are popping, whatever. So is there something you think that the space can kind of like work on to, you know, continue pushing this sentiment and keeping that strong?
That's a hard question because I feel like obviously it would be awesome. Like people like appreciating art will focus even more on art and not as much as on profits. I understand that this space is fueled by money, so it probably won't happen. But as as an artist, it's impossible not to like fall in love with our colleagues' work. There's so much going on, and there's so much inspiration that every time I have like a little spare soul, I go shopping because on a daily basis, I see things I want to collect. So I feel like the community, especially the art community, it's pretty solid at this point. It was super powerful for me and eye opening to be on Breakpoint and to see how close artists are, especially, and how they all are friends of each other and fans of each other, and working towards the same goal. So selfless. I mean, I find really hard to 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 say something that will push the community ahead from the art side. I mean, like most of the greedy or darker stuff comes from the PFP side. I'm not trying to shade anyone. I got an SMB tattoo. I mean, we all or most of us entered here because of the PFP side, but I feel like the art side has like a more sensible approach and not as tainted as the PFP side regards profits and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're like all sensitive people, creators, artists, and that shows. I feel like even though there might be some drama or some whatever, overall, especially the art scene is quite healthy at the moment.
I would agree, man. And one thing, because I am on both sides as well, right? I do collect on both sides. Obviously, the generative side, PFP side of things, it's a little bit more dangerous as far as like, you know, what you get involved in and stuff. But what I do love about the one-on-one art side of things is that collectors are able to connect more with said artists, right? Even for me, it's like when people buy my works and they're reaching out, you know, I'm right there, man. I'm DMing them back. I'm in the Discord. If they have questions, you know, I have something coming up with additions, I retweet, you know, and it's just something that I see multiple artists doing. And that's not something that you get, you know, from being on the PFP side of things. You don't get a project, you know, hitting you back personally. You're like, oh man, you know, thanks for copying this PFP, like super dope. But on this side of things, you're actually building connections and relationships, right? You're getting to talk to the artist and vice versa. You're getting to talk to the collector, and you're learning about each other. You know, your likes, dislikes, like, oh, you know, maybe this person knows another up and coming artist, right? That just entered the space, but they're super fucking dope, like my guy Streetwalker, right? I didn't know about him, but because of Sharpmatic and what he was doing for him, I now do, right? And his art is fucking amazing. I spoke to him, and he's having a moment now, and so it's kind of cool to see these things happening based on just true connections and the love of art. So I think as long as we keep that perspective going all around, bro, I honestly think we literally will all make it, right, for the next bull run. So I just had to drop that real quick.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's once again, it's crazy how first of all, shout out for Streetwalker. I spoke to him the other day. He's super crazy talented. But yeah, as I said before, it's crazy how you get to connect both with artists and collectors. I for the last couple of months, I've been working on my own collection, which is Fellas. One of the things that warm my heart most is being able to build a community which I feel really comfortable and represented with. And it's super nice to get in our group chat and talk every day, sometimes more than others, but like I truly believe we've connected, and getting to know most of them at Breakpoint was amazing. It was great to see their faces and talk to them about things that not necessarily one NFT related. I took with me some of my sketches and handed them over to early collectors, and see their faces of appreciation for something I even myself felt that it wasn't good enough, and see how they were appreciating it was absolutely crazy. It was one of the best moments of the trip. And recently, I connected with a couple of artists to drop like a collab series for Fellas, and getting to onboard them on the group chat, and having like some of my favorite artists, which I'm a big fan of, like in my own group chat. It's absolutely wild. So yeah,
Oh, bro,
once
you're
again,
telling me.
it's an amazing.
Yeah, I saw some of
feeling.
those sneaks, man. Like, you have an insane fucking lineup with collabs, dude. Like, oof, man. How are you even pumping this out, man? Like, are you just like nonstop every single day, just like, you know, art, or like how are you staying productive? You know, like how's your schedule like? If you don't mind talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, it really depends. I try. I know that there's like one project it demands me like to do at least one per week, which is Fellas, and I try to pick the collabs or the side projects. Let's say it's for saying it some way, because they are obviously not side projects, but like I try to pick things that get me excited on working on, like to try new things or to develop new techniques. For example, we haven't been that active, but for example, with Seven Swords Clan, I used it as a space like to try new things and to develop new techniques and to like have fun. There are days like I don't feel like doing stuff and I don't. There are days which I don't feel like doing stuff, but I have to, and I do them anyways. But yeah, I don't know. I just enjoy a lot what I do. I'm kind of living a dream, so
It's not really work when you're just having fun, right?
Yeah, it's yeah. Because once again, I'm discovering my style and my language as I go doing stuff. So once, for example, when I finished this piece, the ODK piece, I was really fucking happy because I felt like I've achieved a new level or something that I've never done before.
Yeah.
So that's what kept me going also.
Damn, that's fucking. You guys heard it here first. Feta developed and unlocked a whole new level working with ODK. Boom, mic drop. Love that, man. I freaking love that for you and for us, to be honest. And that being said, man, holy shit, the bid is at 12 SOL, dude. Wow.
Nice. It's going steady.
It's going steady, man. I think, yeah, this is honestly the best we've had this early on. But dude, man, what a pleasure. Ice, how long have we been going on? Let's open up for questions if anybody has questions, right?
We got a little bit of time. I want to touch on real quick that I just want to let everybody know that our creative pot, what we're working on here with these auctions, we're building up a fund. 20% of all these auctions are going into a creative pot that we're going to use to support one-on-one artists in the ecosystem. And of course, 50% goes back to the artists that we're collaborating with. And also just wanted to just give a big thank you to Fede for being up here with us and, coming and doing this with us. I do have one question. And it's real simple. Just any advice or anything that you would give to any upcoming people that are artists that are reaching out into Web3, just, moving into it now?
Yeah, I know that it can be quite scaring, but try to talk to people. Most of the people in this space are really nice. It might happen that you DM someone that doesn't answer, but most of the time it's because they are super busy, not because they are assholes. And the community aspect is really, really important. As most creative disciplines, doing the piece, it's like half of the work. Marketing, it could be a pain in the ass, but you gotta take care of that. So try to stay connected with other artists. Try to stay connected with collectors as well. And something that has been really helpful in the last couple of months, especially, there are a lot of art communities that are really uplifting being a part of. From, I don't know, Mascot Warriors to 21 DAO to whatever the group you can find and feel comfortable with and buy in, because some of them are paid. But growing as a group and being part of the community makes the path way shorter than trying to grind by yourself.
Very well said. I appreciate those words, and I'm sure any artist in the space really will take that to heart. And honestly, he's right. Like networking and just staying in touch and like just growing, like the power behind people. There's just so much power behind people, and when you work together, there's just so many possibilities. It's unlimited. It's limitless. I mean, so I do want to just let everybody in the space know that we have a giveaway that we're giving 3 solo away to 3 individuals. We're going to give one to one person in the space, and we're going to draw 2 off the tweet. Lyko, you can go ahead and decide how you want to choose the person in the space. But
shit.
As far as that goes, if anybody does want to talk, I know Ray came up as a speaker and hasn't had a chance to speak yet. Anybody has any questions and want to come up, by all means, and just go ahead and enter that giveaway if you haven't yet.
Oh man, I just showed up to show love. Baskin knows what's up. That's my baby boy right there.
Hey, that's
hey man,
love.
how you doing?
No, I was
speaking early.
Oh yeah, man. I talked to Basket. Look, I'm not gonna say that like the fellas get because look, I didn't even have a fella, right? And I knew Basket for like a year and a half now or some shit, and I basically found out of him because of back in the day, like you said, like there was Holoplex and shit, and one thing that projects were doing like rarely is they'll hire like a Basket, and Basket did a whole badass scenery for Solana Surfers, this super like DGen OG project. I don't know if y'all know about it, but like the vibe that he captures with these fellas was in that fucking picture. Like Basket has been like, I don't know how he does it. Like, dude, how did you get that color palette? Like that shit is worth like the way you use those colors. Like, cause I noticed on my skeleton fella, like the red is like not red. You know, it's like this like soft, like non-saturated red. And at first, like the normal person would just look at it and be like, And me, I just fucking fell in love with that little red accents. Like, and then we put a red heart in the rib cage, and then boom, that thing's just perfect.
Before you answer that, Fede, yeah, man, that soul is going to you, man. Yo, the attention to detail and the love for you, bro, that's fucking amazing. So let's go ahead and get that one soul to Ray, man, for coming up and showing that love.
Like, oh, congrats, Ray.
Yeah, I'm over here bidding like crazy too on the thing. I was like, let me calm down because everyone's active right now. I got it to like 8 soul.
Word, yo, man.
The Solana Surfers was one of the communities that gave me most love. I felt bad for they derugged recently, but yeah, it was amazing how well received that piece was. And regards to color, part of my formation and my background is in graphic design, so I have like some color theory in me, even though I couldn't put on words exactly what happened. But I think that it started like I'm a big fan of yellow. It's a color I use in a lot of things I do. And I picked like a tone of yellow I really liked, and I tried to build around it. I started picking colors like with the same level of saturation and contrast and whatever. And I picked like a few of them. I started also with like the turquoise, the green or whatever, and a violet, because I feel like those three colors represented really well like aesthetic moment in the 90s. I feel really bonded with. And then I started like tweaking it little by little, like adding like shades or lights, lighter tones of that base palette. But it started like with 5 colors or so maybe. And I think that working with a limited palette really opens a wide range of opportunities, because it's you sometimes, I don't know, for example, you have an apple and you don't use orange, and you have, well, okay, I painted with yellow. That starts giving it a character to what you do. So very often the like limited palette solves things easier, instead of giving you the trouble of, okay, what color should I be using? I don't know if I was clear, but I like restraining myself in some ways, like to be easier to pick certain stuff.
And that's, bro, that has a lot of truth to that, because I'm fortunate now to get mentored, and like, you know, I have my art dealer's wife, who's been an art critic for like 30 plus years, and one of the first things she fucking told me after seeing some of my works early on, she's like, you need to limit your color palette. I was like, what? Like, you're telling me to take away color? I didn't understand that, right? I was just like, what are you talking about, right? And then, but yeah, man, like limiting your color palette just allows you to kind of create your worlds, right? And it makes it a little bit more simpler to find your style, your voice. But you know, because we have a plethora of color, you can get lost into it quite easily, and you lose a lot of tones, and you lose a lot of highlights and shadows and stuff. But limiting it allows you to kind of like, you know, break it down and really see what works and what doesn't for you. So, you know, well said, Basket. Well said, bro.
Yeah, and it's way easier like to add a highlight if you feel there's something missing, but to remove all everything that it's not adding once the piece is done. I can start to tell how many times I did a piece that at the beginning it didn't look that good or whatever, and I started coloring, and just by coloring, a lot of things fell into place, and then it was just like, okay, this needs like a little highlight or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. At least for me, it helps me a lot to work with a limited palette.
Damn, heard it here. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to come up and, you know, let it rip. I know Mulliman came up and requested to speak. Do you have a question, brother?
Hey, Muli.
What's up, Basket? How are you, brother?
Hey, man. So long we don't speak.
I know, it's just like the other day or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, you rocking the Argentina? Because I know you're from Argentina, right?
Right.
Yeah, you going? I just want to know, you've been watching the World Cup at all?
Man, that's all I've been doing for the last week or so. I mean, all my days are basically between the couch and my bed. And okay, I'm drawing with the iPad, but I haven't missed, I think I missed like 2 or 3 games since the World Cup started. I've seen all of them.
That's what's up, dude. My boys are looking really good. I'm surprised they've taken 2 ties home, but you know, so. But anyways, I was just curious. I was just wondering how hard you were rooting, you know, with Argentina and Messi going to be his last cup, you know, big one for you guys.
I gotta be honest, I'm quite nervous right now. We're playing tomorrow with Mexico, and we have to win or we are out. I was so fucking excited. It was, yeah, I can't start to tell you like how much I waited for this and how excited I was. So now I'm really fucking nervous.
Basque, I'm
yeah.
going to be hitting you up the whole game, man, because I'm in Mexico. So you already know what it is. It's gonna be a good
I'm
one.
gonna be watching the game in the Soul City Radio Discord, so come in and let's all.
Hey, I'm down. Let's do it. I'm there.
No, yeah, but yeah, it's for me World Cup. It's bigger than Christmas, my birthday, all together. It's something it's the best time of the year every 4 years.
Yeah, lucky enough, we did this stage in the evening then, or else it was a no-go, right?
No, I was respectfully gonna say no if you told me to do it at the same time of the game.
Oh, I love that, dude. But yeah, I think how we with time, Ice? I think we're pretty much
Yeah,
good.
we got 6 minutes left in the space. The winners have been pulled, and we actually have one of them here in the space.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations, Dresco, who's not here, but Ben Harley NFT Art, who is here.
Hey,
Go,
dude.
Ben!
Let me give some sounds. Hold on. You know,
So
where's the
each winner will be receiving one soul.
I think you pronounced that incorrectly, though. It's pronounced Mullyman. That's how you pronounce it, just so you know.
Good to see you, man. Hey, I wanted to give you a shout out too because I love the banner. This salon is my home banner. Like, yeah,
Hey,
props on that.
There we go. Some hearts are there.
Yo, that's that Camille piece, bro. That piece is fire.
Yeah, I had to pick one up on
It really
second
is.
day, bro. Those shits went quick. I mean, she had it open, right? Or I don't even know, but I think I missed the window like
Yeah,
always.
it was open for one. She gave one to the Soul City crew, and I was like, dude, I can't not rock it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta say goodbye to Bree. She's leaving for work.
All right, word. Yeah, I had to get one for the ODK bulb too, man. I had to, must haves. Streetwalker,
For sure.
bro.
For sure.
Congrats on your second bad boy auction. That was epic, dude. Yeah, man. I'm still, left over here with tears. I can't get one just yet, but it's gonna happen, dude. But yeah, it's really cool to see you come up that fast, bro. So yeah, quick little shout out to you. And shout out to everybody listening in right now. I know a few of you have been here since the beginning, so quick hearts to y'all as well, because without y'all, we wouldn't have a space. And yeah, man, we plan to do this every single week. I'm trying to tap into the creative minds of these artists, and you know what? Maybe even some collectors if they're willing, because it's kind of good to understand, a little bit from the other side, right? What they're into, how they come into the space, collecting works, right? What values that they look for in artists and stuff. So yeah, man, super excited to do this every single week.
So did I hear that One Dope Kid is about to add a show to the Soul City roster? Is that what I'm hearing?
It seems like, bro. It seems like, I'm having fun with these, dude. I can see why you guys do them every single day. It's addicting, man.
Dude, it's so addicting, man. I freaking love it. And like the creative genius that comes out of
right?
Just getting ready for like I'm starting to make a photo shoot. You know what I mean? Like I was like, you know what? I want to freaking shoot today because I'm listening to these guys talk about creating. Like I go create now.
Oh yeah, that's what it's about, dude. And then people be dropping bombs sometimes. You get left with some wisdom. You're just like, man.
Oh yes, you get a lot of knowledge from Twitter Spaces, and it's just such a great way to connect with people as well. I mean, such a nice platform, I gotta admit. Although I really wish that Elon would just go ahead and let us get on desktop. I feel like it's coming, guys. Just give it some time, but we'll get there. But any last words before we head out? We got 2 minutes left. So Fede, if you have any last final words you want to say, or Lyko?
Man, I just want to say a big thanks to Fede, man. And I was I'm very happy that I got to meet Milt at Hacker House, because that's the way we got connected. It just, it goes to show, go out of your way, network, and make it happen, because if not, we would have never had this connection. So yeah, man, big shout out to you for doing this. And I'm excited for what we do, from not just ODK and Fede, but from Lyko and Fede. Like, best believe, bro, I'm gonna hit you with something, because we need to do something as well. So yeah, I'll end it there.
Of course, man. Yeah, I wanted to thank you as well. I had a great time on both doing the piece and talking to you, getting to know all of you. So that was really cool. For the rest of you, all I gotta say is try to take care of the ecosystem. This space gives you so much opportunities, and it can be really life-changing. So take care of it.
That's amazing, man. I love that. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and close out this space.